Hey everyone, welcome back to Literature Nuts, your go-to channel for all things literary. In today's video, we're diving into the second major literary movement, Realism. You'll learn the historical and social reasons behind the rise of Realism, its key characteristics that set it apart from Romanticism, and some of the most influential authors and their groundbreaking works that defined this era. So if you're a lit nerd like me, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive into the literary world. Let's get started. The Realism movement was a literary and artistic movement that emerged in the mid-19th century, mainly in France, as a reaction against Romanticism and its idealized portrayal of life. Realism came after the Romantic era and during the time of industrialization, urbanization, and social change in Europe. It focused on everyday life and ordinary people, especially the middle and lower classes, rejected exaggeration, drama, and idealism. Realistic authors used simple, clear language and detailed descriptions, explored social issues, class struggles, and human psychology. They emphasized objective reality rather than emotions or imagination. Realism was influenced by the rise of science, industrial society, and middle-class life. Realistic authors aimed to depict life as it really is with accuracy and objectivity. They made sure to present life as it truly is without sugarcoating, focusing on the truth of everyday existence and the real struggles of people. Historical and social changes in the 19th century shaped the themes, characters, and the style of realist literature. Now, what were the historical and social reasons behind the rise of realism? Rise of science. In the 1800s, science and reason gained huge importance. People believed more in facts, observations, and objectivity. Realist writers adopted a scientific eye. They observed society and human behavior realistically, like a researcher. This meant no exaggeration, no fantasy, just truthful, detailed depictions of life. The Industrial Revolution transformed Europe. Cities grew, machines replaced hand labor, and factories became common. This caused new problems: poverty, class struggles, urban crowding, exploitation, and loss of rural traditions. Realist authors wrote about these issues honestly, focusing on how society really functioned for ordinary people. For example, Dickens' Hard Times shows a grim industrial town where workers are treated like machines. Before, literature mostly focused on nobles and heroes. Now, the middle class, merchants, clerks, teachers were growing in size and power and became both readers and subjects of literature. Realist novels began to focus on domestic life, social climbing, marriage, money, and morality, all middle-class concerns. For example, in George Eliot's Middlemarch, the drama is not epic war, but quiet lives, marriages, careers, and ideals. So in a nutshell, realism was shaped by a world that was becoming more scientific, more industrial, and more middle-class. So it told truthful, detailed stories about real people, not kings or fairy tales. Everyday characters and situations. Realist literature centers on ordinary people, those who might meet in daily life, rather than kings, warriors, or mythical heroes. Middle and lower class characters take the spotlight: factory workers such as housewives, teachers, clerks, soldiers. Their struggles reflect realistic human experiences: unhappy marriages, economic hardship, career disappointments, family pressures, moral conflicts. These stories highlight the truths of everyday existence, showing that even the mundane holds emotional and narrative weight. For example, George Eliot's Middlemarch explores the frustrations, hopes, and decisions of small-town residents, not in dramatic fashion, but with subtle emotional realism. Realist writers use plain, precise, and descriptive language to portray life honestly. They avoid flowery language, dramatic metaphors, or poetic flourishes typical of Romanticism. The tone is often neutral or understated, allowing the reader to interpret meaning through realistic details. Focus on social issues. Realism doesn't just show people, it shows the society that shapes them. Authors expose social problems such as poverty and the effects of capitalism, gender inequality, especially women's limited roles, class divisions, and lack of upward mobility, injustice, corruption, and flawed institutions. By embedding these issues in characters' lives, realists show how external forces can influence individual fates. For example, Charles Dickens' Hard Times critiques the dehumanizing effects of the factory system and utilitarian education in industrial England. Rejection of the ideal or heroic. Realism rejects the romanticized or idealized portrayals of life, love, or character. There are no perfect heroes or magical resolutions. Instead, characters are flawed, conflicted, and very human, often indecisive, unhappy, and compromised. Life is portrayed as it truly is: complex, morally ambiguous, and sometimes disappointing. For example, Emma Bovary in Madame Bovary is not a noble heroine. Her dissatisfaction, selfishness, and fantasies lead her to her ruin. Psychological depth. Realist literature dives deep into the inner lives of characters, exploring their thoughts, emotions, and motivations with care and complexity. These characters often experience internal conflict, anxiety, or moral dilemmas. The focus is not just on what they do, but why they do it, revealing subconscious desires, regrets, and fears. This makes characters feel multidimensional and relatable, not just tools to move the plot. For example, in Tolstoy's Anna Karenina's, Anna's internal struggle between duty and passion is portrayed with raw emotional insight. Realism tells the truth about life not as it should be, but as it is. It gives voice to the ordinary, exposes the struggles within society, and brings readers face to face with the beauty and burden of being human. Gustave Flaubert's Madame Bovary is a landmark of realism, telling the story of Emma Bovary, a doctor's wife who seeks escape from her ordinary life through love affairs and luxury, only to face ruin. Flaubert's precise, unflinching style, focused on everyday life, psychological depth, and social detail, embodies the realist aim to portray life truthfully without romantic illusions. Leo Tolstoy, a Russian master of realism, wrote Anna Karenina and War and Peace to explore the deep complexities of human life. Anna Karenina examines love, infidelity, and social judgment, while War and Peace blends the personal lives with the sweep of history. Both novels reflect realism through their rich psychological insight, moral questions, and truthful depictions of Russian society, without idealization or simplification. George Eliot's Middlemarch is a profound realist novel, set in a small English town exploring the intertwined lives, ambitions, and moral struggles of its residents. Through detailed characterization and social observation, Eliot reveals the quiet complexities of ordinary life, capturing realism's essence, truth, depth, and the consequences of human choices within the changing society. Henry James' The Portrait of a Lady follows Isabel Archer, a young American woman navigating freedom, love, and betrayal in European society. With subtle psychological insight and detailed social settings, James exemplifies realism by focusing on inner conflict, personal choice, and the moral complexity of everyday life, eschewing melodrama for nuanced truth. Charles Dickens' Hard Times is a stark critique of industrial society set in the fictional factory town of Coketown. It follows characters crushed by rigid education, mechanized labor, and social inequality. Though often dramatic, the novels reflect realism in its focus on class struggles, social injustice, and harsh realities of the 19th century industrial life. And that's a wrap on the realism movement, a powerful shift in literature that brought everyday life, social issues, and human complexity to the forefront. If you found this video helpful or insightful, please give it a thumbs up and drop your thoughts in the comments and share it with your fellow book lovers. And of course, subscribe to Literature Nerds for more clear, concise, and passionate explorations of literature. Until next time, keep reading, keep questioning.